ICP looks pretty bad right now, and I think it's something we need to talk about. This won't be a long video because it's pretty clear what is happening with ICP. The structure and the price action is pretty clear, and it just gives us a few options to consider. Now, before we get into it real good, I want to remind you, give you some perspective of where you are in ICP. You were at lows in October of around 3. Even now, you're over 300% where you were back in October. The price has increased and held 3%, 3 times after rising over to 5 times as much in about 2.5 months. So everything for ICP long term looks fantastic. Everything for Bitcoin and crypto still looks pretty good. I'm expecting 2024 to be a pretty good year and for us to be breaking these highs over the next few months. So consider where you are and make sure you have perspective as we go through this video. ICP is a great project and is holding up nicely. That being said, we have to talk reality. And reality is that ICP is in a downtrend and has been since the 1st of January. And ICP is in a downtrend like other altcoins, most other altcoins, with a high, a low, a lower high. Here's a lower high, and here's now a lower low that we have broken into. All can be easily seen with this downtrend that is connecting the tops of these highs. ICP is falling because Bitcoin is falling. Bitcoin is under 40,000 for the first time since, what's that, the 3rd and 4th of December. And of course, after anything goes up 500% in 2.5 months, you have to expect some retracement, some correction, which is what we're experiencing now. Let's do a nice comparison for you that'll make you feel good if you are an ICP holder. Like I said, ICP, even in the throes of this falling price, you're still over 300%. ADA, let's just use them for an example, had a low of 0.25 back in October, went up 2.5%, so, or 2.5 times. So it only, even as high as it went up in its run up, its high is still lower than where you are in ICP after giving back. ADA is not even double anymore where it was in the lows at 0.025. Double would be 0.5, and it's down around 0.47. So from where ADA started to where it is now is less than double. ICP, from where it started to where it is now, is still triple where you were. You can see that in VET as well, less than double. Doge, less than double. Across the coins, ICP, Avalanche, Solana, those are 3 that have done fantastic and are holding their, not highs, but holding their gains pretty well even in this fall. Okay, so it's pretty clear what we got here. We got a range on top that contained the tops from about 14.7 to 15.7 roughly. Here is the range right here, which ICP has dipped down into and popped back out of as of the making of this video. This range is from about 8.8 to 10. You can definitely see why it's an important range. It held a lot of price action and movement right here as ICP was rebasing for another push up back in December. So this is a level you want to hold. ICP wants to hold this level. If it doesn't, it's going to continue to fall down to the 8th, somewhere around here perhaps. ICP is so strong, I'm not even considering these levels right here like we have to on some of the other coins. And that's just because, like I said, ICP increased 500 times in about 2.5 months. The reason you're falling is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in its 38,000 to 40,000 level right here. This level below it is at risk. That is 38,000 to 34 to 38,000. Here is at risk. I don't know we'll fall straight into it. I imagine we'll bounce up around, might even bounce up to the bottom of these trend line, but it's at risk, which means it's a possibility we fall down into that level. If we do, ICP will probably break out of the bottom of this and land around 8 or so. But that's all in the future. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just saying, with Bitcoin still having an at-risk chance of falling into 35,000 level, ICP may give up some more gains over time. This level is holding nicely. We could do something like this, a bounce out and then a bounce down. So don't be fooled if that happens. The first step to positive recovery is we've got to break this trend line, which is going to happen sooner in ICP than other coins. So even you have to be wary about this, breaking this trend line in ICP. The reason you have to worry is, let me get you, see how close this trend line is, okay? So let's look at that. Here's its trend line, and it has made another steeper decline trend line. So here's the trend line that's equivalent to what's on ICP. And look how much time it would have to, how much price structure it would have to have, and how much time it would have to break its trend line right here, which is a positive step toward recovery. ICP's trend line, because it's so strong, is much closer, and any blip in Bitcoin, maybe up to 41,000 or so, you might see ICP pop out, okay? But it needs to stay there. If it just pops out, wicks out for a day or two, and then comes back in, that still means there could be more weakness here. So even the trend line, you have to watch and be careful because it's so close to current price. Any blip in the market could, any upward blip could pop that out. Whereas, look, an upward blip is not going to even come close to getting VET out of the trouble it's in, not going to come close to getting ADA into the trouble it's in, the Doge, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so does that make sense? So because you're in a stronger coin and you haven't given up as many gains, you have to be wary of a temporary out and then back in. But that is still going to be the first step of recovery for ICP, is to see some positive price action outside of this trend line. That's what you want to watch for. Until you see that, we are experiencing down pressure. Doesn't mean we will fall, means we could fall, okay? And so as you've seen, we've already started experiencing sub 10 prices. It's not going to, Bitcoin was down in the 38,000s earlier today. It's since rallied to 39,570 as I'm making this video. Would not surprise me for it to go back up to 40,000 and do, like I said, some bouncing. So be careful. You might see something, some relief in ICP. Just make sure you want to see that continuous relief, not just temporary. That's kind of my only words of warning right now. But still, to see that bounce is nice, right? To see that it's still got to get through this support level, which has a lot of market participants, or had a lot, and we've got to assume it still does after this bounce. I'm telling you guys, ICP is looking really good long term. You are in a good project. Hold on, add more too if you're looking for discount. Long term, you're looking great, just fine, absolutely perfect. You've got good days ahead. All right, be careful in your trading. I'll talk to you next time.